it's Gaz, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So today, we got an episode of This Week in Warframe. We're going over the entire weekly reset, and pretty much what to expect as a Warframe player this week. As far as big stuff happening this week, it is the last week for the Nabarus Nights Halloween event. So make sure you get that stuff from Nabarus, such as Exodia Contagion, the Ocucor augment that returned, and some other stuff like Plague Zaw parts. Beyond that, we have our typical weekly reset stuff, so let's get right into it. If you enjoy these types of videos, we're recording this live on stream right now, and we'll be doing also the weekly reset missions with chat after this video goes up too, so hope you guys appreciate all the content. Alright, for Teshin's first item here, we got the Rifle Ribbon mod. You could actually unveil some ribbons for the new infested Lich weapons, which if you watch my Devs from Overview video, there are plenty of infested primaries that you might want to get a ribbon for, like the Sporothrix, the Hema, and some other ones too. So yeah, great stuff to grab that. And we got some Kuva and relics as usual. Xaku Prime will be on November 13th. So yeah, the week of Xaku Prime coming out, which is not this upcoming week, you might want to hold off on grabbing all your relic packs until Xaku Prime releases on the 13th. But yeah, for right now, don't worry about that. That's more of a prep in the future kind of thing. Moving on to the Dorma Zone for your Pathos clamps. Let's see what we got. Typically don't have the best stuff in the Dorma Zone, but there are some times we're getting a reactor, maybe for Xaku Prime coming out soon, or like some arcanes or something that you want could be somewhat decent. But yeah, beyond that, a pretty tame week for Warframe. We just got a massive, massive dev stream, basically what we would expect for the rest of the year. And the big updates are happening in December, and between now and December, expect Xaku Prime like in mid-November, and then beyond that, like you're probably going to wait like an entire month until 1999 comes out. But it'll be a big, juicy update. Alright, so for the Dorma Zone over here, we got an Auric Catalyst. This is one of the only things this vendor can bring that's actually worth it. One of the easiest ways to get this in the whole game without using Platinum is going to be right here. So Auric Catalyst Blueprint in the Dorma Zone for 20 Pathos clamps. It's worth it to some people. It's 20 plat to buy this usually, but yeah, 20 Pathos clamps to get this instead if you prefer this method. Beyond that, they've got a secondary Arcane Adapter, 5,000 Kuva, an Exilus Weapon Adapter, and an Exilus Warframe Adapter. So you got plenty of adapters here, but yeah, the main prize will be that Auric Catalyst Blueprint.
Nothing tickled your curiosity.
Let's go take a look at that EDA and that Archon Hunt to see what's going on. And yeah, there are also some really good Incarnons this week too. So if you don't have every Incarnon in the game, like some people, really, really good choices. But we'll get to that in a second here. Alright, so let's go over to the Kavia, take a peek at the EDA. I'm kind of like looking for a boss fight tonight, so let's see if we get the EDA eyeball boss. Additionally, too, no rush in the Nightwave. The Nightwave is going to be here for an unknown amount of time, but they usually give you like a 2 or 3 week buffer before the Nightwave ends, so you can like basically level it up. So no rush on that either. Okay, no boss fight tonight it looks like, but we've got I've got Garuda, so that's pretty nice. Garuda for the EDA, but yeah, as far as your mission types here, you got Mere Defense, Disruption, and Survival. So a pretty long EDA, actually. Okay, got it. For the first mission, Mere Defense, your modifiers are going to be Eroding Sense. The defense objective is constantly taking damage over time. Ooh, that one's a kind of annoying one. Collecting the required Vosphine glyphs will halt the degradation and partially heal them. So that's not one that you like to have, at least not one I like to have. You'll be having to actually grab the glyphs constantly to make sure that one is not going to die. So yeah, protect the objective and grab the glyphs. I'd recommend doing this with a team, not solo, because solo, that's a lot of stuff to keep track of. But yeah, it's not like it's impossible solo. Thankfully, it is the first mission, so if you do fail, at least, you know, you didn't waste that much time. Second modifier, Devil's Bargain. Allies within 4 meters of a slate enemy gain increased fire rate and have reduced ammo efficiency, so they'll drain their ammo really fast. So be careful about that if you have a weapon that has not the best ammo pool. And the final EDA modifier for the first mission, Hostile Regeneration. Enemies will slowly regenerate their health. That one's probably not going to be that bad compared to the first one. Eroding Sense is definitely an annoying modifier. If you want to have an easier time with this, you could use an Ancient Healer Spectre to make it not take as much damage. As long as there's no gear embargo. Never mind, there's a gear embargo. Okay, you might want to bring something that can heal, like maybe Vazarin could work, or something else, like Wisp Motes might even work. I don't remember if Wisp Motes work or not, but yeah. Either way, gear embargo prevents the use of specters. Second mission, Disruption. The first modifier will be Engorged Gruslings. All Gruslings are Eximus. I don't know if you ever fought a Gruzling Eximus before. They are pretty annoying and tanky, and all they're going to do once you kill it is drop a guaranteed key. So you could honestly just ignore the Gruzzling if you just want to get the mission done and have the least amount of annoyances. So that's pretty much a non-factor as long as you just don't worry about the Gruzzling. The Gruzzling can be killed in the Xmas form, but yeah, very, very tanky and just kind of not worth even killing for just one key. Second modifier, post-mortal surges. Slight enemies will explode in a void energy burst. Thankfully, this is not in the mirror defense one, or that'd be really annoying. In disruption with no, conduits that can be targeted, this is just pretty much another free modifier as long as you just stay on your toes. And for the final modifier, wait, I heard you like explosions. There's 2 explosion modifiers now. The EDA modifier, rupturing fragments, replace the shuffling fragments. So they will double explode. Okay, so maybe be a little more careful than I was initially saying, because those explosions can deal up to 5,000 damage per hit, and when there's multiple of them at the same time, every enemy explodes and the rupturing fragments seem to double explode. So, yeah, be careful about that one. Maybe res your teammates if they go down. And for your final mission, the survival, you got hostile support as your first modifier. The life support tower delivery system is disabled. But if you want to get some life support, kill these necromechs that appear every 90 seconds. They will drop life support when killed. So there will be lots of mechs in this mission. If you push the button to make the mission go faster, you got a mech from the button push and a mech from the life support. So get ready to kill lots and lots of mechs. Hope you got some decent gear for this. Next modifier, commanding Culverins. The rogue Culverin enemies will deal more damage to Overguard and mechs. So if you have Dante, you have Frost, you have whoever getting tons of Overguard, they will chew through it quicker than usual. And they're taking that Overguard and they want to use it themselves. The final modifier for the EDA, bolstered belligerence. All enemies have Overguard equal to 50% of their maximum health. So they shred your Overguard and they have Overguard themselves. So yeah, some pretty annoying modifiers today, honestly. I said the disruption's probably the easiest of the whole bunch because one of them is a totally free modifier. As far as your personal modifiers, you want to make it a little bit harder for you, but get some extra loot. You have these ones up here you can choose to activate. First one, abbreviated abilities. Ability duration reduced by 50%. So that can be kind of annoying, for sure. But depending on what frame you're playing, it might not be as big of a deal, or depending on what kind of builds you have. Second modifier, one of my least favorite, gear embargo. Gear cannot be used. So no elite on-call crew members, no specters, no energy pads, no ammo pads, and no pretty much anything else you want to use in the gear slot. Oh, that also means no heavy Arcwing guns either for easy overguard. So definitely one of the worst modifiers they can throw in here. Yeah. If you don't want every little drop of Phosphor, maybe turn that one off. But yeah, that's just how it goes. Next modifier, untreatable. Pickups do not heal, and health orbs cannot be picked up. So things like Reconstruct Arcane, Wisp motes, if you got Wisp, things like that. Vazarin Focus Tree can actually heal you when you don't have to worry about health orbs. So there's plenty of ways to get healed in this game, so that's not as big of a deal. But yeah, just keep that in mind, that the health orbs are not going to really doing anything for you. And for the final one, energy exhaustion. Lose 2 energy per second for each enemy within 10 meters of you. So this could actually stack up pretty quickly, so be aware of that. Maybe go for a more airborne playstyle for this mission, as you'll be draining up to 20 energy per second if you have a bunch of enemies near you. Actually, it's per second within 10 meters, so it could actually be more than 20 energy per second if you have a ton of enemies nearby you. So relatively annoying EDA, actually, all things considered, so be aware of that when you hop in. You have some pretty annoying modifiers on mission 1 and 3. For Bird 3's weekly Archon Shard, let's take a look at what we got. Alright, we got Bird 3 with the Azure Archon Shard, and if you want to get access to this and the mission I was just telling you about, you need rank 5 of the Kavia Syndicate to do this stuff. Alright, so let's move on to the next weekly item. Let's go over the Incarnons and Archon Hunt. Because as I stated earlier in the video, there are some must-have Incarnons this week. If you don't have them, they are seriously some of the strongest guns in the game. But starting off with the normal circuit, if you want to get some potentially easy-to-farm frames compared to their normal acquisition method, we've got Loki, Mag, and Rhino. And you're in luck today, because these frames are all really easy to farm. You don't even need to bother with normal circuit in my eyes. Rhino comes from the Jackal boss fight on Venus, like super low-level stuff. Mag comes from the Sergeant on, I think, Phobos, which is super, super easy, like the easiest boss fight in the game. The hardest part of that is just finding where he is. And Loki comes from the Hyena pack on I believe on Neptune. So really up to you guys. They're super easy to farm. As far as who has the best Helminth, Rhino has the best Helminth, but they're all easy to farm, so you can just get that whenever you want to anyway. So if I just wanted to pick one of these for no reason, just because I felt like it, I'd probably go with Rhino here, because they're all easy to farm, but at least I get a good Helminth out of this if I picked this one. So moving on to the Steel Path circuit, which you cannot get this stuff from other places easily. This is the only place you can get these. We've got the Incarnons on the screen right now. So Before we go over this stuff, the reminder, if you have not played in a while, you get the rank, I think it's the rank 8 or 9 opportunity intrinsic to get Kuva or Rivens as an alternative to Incarnons if you already have the Incarnons you want. But yeah, as far as these Incarnons this week, we got the Bow Incarnon, the Latron Incarnon, the Furist Incarnon, super OP, the Furax Incarnon, and the Strun Incarnon. So as far as what all of these do, and what I'd recommend to you if you can only pick 2 of them this week, like everyone can, we got the Bow Incarnon as what it does. It will give you increased range once you get enough Incarnon combo, which gives you 4 meters of extra range, which is quite nice. So if you want to use a melee influence build, the range of this thing is crazy. So that's probably what I'd recommend you use it for. A melee influence, super long range electric proc build. You could technically find some uses for it as stat sticks, but let's be real here, the Magistar is going to be doing more damage. So Magistar is going to have higher damage for a stat stick, but if you want some more status chance, you could go for the Bow Incarnon technically. I would put this on one of the lower recommendations this week. It's not really a thing I use quite often, and it's not really popular at all either. So yeah, lower priority this week, the Bow Incarnon. A good option this week for sure is the Latron Incarnon. The Incarnon form on this one is a lot different than the normal shot. The normal shot is like a semi-auto rifle, but when you're in Incarnon form after you get some headshots, it is a bouncing fireball launcher. And the Incarnon perks on this thing are crazy, crazy good. They're like better than some mods in the game, honestly. So for example, this one, Riddled Target. Increased multi-shot per puncture status effect, stacking up to 4 times. So 100% multi-shot, just for proccing some puncture. This thing has puncture built in, so great there. Also getting a bunch of extra base damage. Other things on here too, the top tier Incarnons can do some crazy strong stuff. This thing can have built-in armor strip with the Flensing Spikes perk. Remove enemies' armor per puncture status effect. That is a permanent armor removal that cannot be nullified. So pretty interesting stuff there. But if you want to go down to more the damage route, you got Critical Parallel, massively buffing the crit chance. My Latron Prime Incarnon has 319% crit chance when I stack everything up. So that's kind of nuts. Actually, I think that might have been an Invigoration. But either way, it can have crazy, crazy crits. That's like guaranteed red crits, honestly. So maybe try this one out. It is very high power in a lot of situations, honestly. The weapon I'd probably recommend to you, number 1 this week, though, is going to be a very easy weapon to put together. The Furist Incarnon. This is one of the strongest pistols in the game. It's basically a jet engine as its Incarnon form. So you get some headshots. It is a wide beam of fire damage that does a lot of damage. So some of these perks on here can be very powerful too, like Storm Burst. Whenever the enemy has an electric proc on, you get increased multi-shot. And there's ways to get electric procs enemies very easily, like such as Wisp, Electric Motes. And that's pretty good. As far as your top tier ones on here, you got ones that give you a bunch of status chance. That's what I usually use. So yeah, this thing can annihilate a level 10,000 Thrax in 1 tick of damage with the right build. And I'd recommend that for sure. I've used it on Frost for a Fire and Ice Frost build. Amazing, amazing pistol. Highly recommend it. If you don't have it, it's another great thing too. It's very, very easy to get. Just get the Furist normal. Get the Incarnon. No Riven needed. Just throw it together. Fire proc build would be great. Get some Galvanized mods. And you could use that thing the entire time you're playing Warframe as a top tier option. So good one there for sure. Furax Incarnon, it's better now than it used to be, but it's still, the fire slam on this thing is still pretty weak. But it's more about the heavy attack efficiency when you're in the Incarnon form. But yeah, for the Furax Incarnon, they're some of the best fist weapons in the game. Once you get enough combo meter, you can turn it into the Incarnon form, which will make it have a fire slam attack. The fire slam does not do much damage. You're more looking about the actual heavy attack efficiency that fire slam provides to you, which lets you basically just infinitely heavy slam. But the thing is, though, we also have those galvanized melee mods now that can give you a lot of combos. So it doesn't really help that much in the grand scheme of things, but it's still pretty powerful, and it can get the job done for sure. The big thing you'd use the Furax for is actually going to be for buffing your pistol. The Amalgam Furax body count mod gives you fire rate for pistols, so that could buff your pistol by just having the melee equipped. And it's also a good melee on its own, so yeah. I'd recommend it as probably the 4th choice. I'd recommend this above the bow, but yeah, they're both they're melee Incarnons, so they're not going to be as good as the gun Incarnons are a lot of the time. And for your final option, the Strun Incarnon is a extremely high tier shotgun. I'd recommend the Strun Prime as your option here, but as far as what this one does, once you get some Incarnon charge, it becomes basically a fire rocket launcher with a lot of status if you go with the Incarnon perks I usually use. So yeah, shotgun into rocket launcher, like pellet shotgun into rocket launcher. As far as the top tier Incarnons, you can go full crit, you can go full status, you can go hybrid. They're all good. The thing can pump out tons and tons of heat procs. super quickly. If you like the Boar Incarnon, but you want like a more AoE rocket launcher version of that, this could be a great one to choose. Now, as far as what's number 1 and number 2 this week, hopefully I made it clear already. The Furious Incarnon is my number 1 recommendation to you guys. And as far as the number 2 Incarnon choice, it's going to be between the Latron or the Strun. I'd probably say the Latron's a little bit more flexible than the Strun. But yeah, shotguns, shotguns are pretty fun. So I'd say you're safe to go with either of them. But if you want my number 1, number 2, Furious number 1, Latron number 2. But again, if you already have one of these, go for the one you don't have. And if you already have all 3 of the guns, and you want to go between Furax and Bow, I would say the Bow is probably better for melee influence, and the Furax is better for like heavy attack, one-shot Acolyte stuff. So they're both usable, but I use the Furax more than the Bow. So that's your recommendation for the week. Hopefully that was helpful to you guys. All right, the Archon Hunt is going to be the Owl Archon, and I've got Yoreli Strength, oh boy. And as far as the mission types, you've got Sabotage, Defense, and the final boss showdown. For that blue Archon shard, you can build things like green Archon shards or purple Archon shards. As stated earlier, don't worry too much about the Nightwave, because the Nightwave is going to be here for a while, but the challenges are as follows. Cache Hunter, find 6 caches in any Sabotage mission. Collector, get 100 resources from Deviri. That should be pretty easy if you're doing a circuit run to get those Incarnons. First, Elite Weekly Antiquarian. Open 1 relic of each type. Lith, Meso, Neo, and Axii. Pretty straightforward there. And for the final Elite Weekly, Cold Steel. Kill 1,000 enemies on the Steel Path. EDA is not Steel Path, so keep that in mind. If you are running just EDA and your Archon Hunt, none of that stuff is Steel Path. So you need to actually do some Steel Path missions to get these kills. I'd recommend like a Steel Path Survival or something. And for your elite, your permanent weeklies, you got Exodus Eliminator, Mission Complete, and Not a Warning Shot. Basically get kills on Exodus and complete 15 missions. For your cred offering store over here, let's take a peek at what we got. And yeah, guys, that Sentient Surge mod in the Nabarus Knights is not going to come back for a while, it seems like. So make sure you get that if you don't have it already. But yeah, for this store, we got our evergreen stuff at the top. And as far as the helmets, nothing that's really screaming out to me right now. That is a pretty cool looking Kalervo helmet, to be fair. Gerudo Resurgence just started, so you can get the Bathory helmet if you want that. And Degas also got a helmet as well. For your augment mods here, look, we got a Glassmaker Sigil and an Emblem. That's funny. Napalm Grenade to the Penta. If you do want to use the Penta, I would recommend this because it is pretty strong. It changes the functionality of the Penta quite a bit. We've also got Efficient Beams to Convectrix. If you are using the Convectrix, you must have this mod. It is extremely strong. And then as far as the Aura mods, Enemy Radar, Sprint Boost, Rejuvenation, and Sniper Scavenger. As far as which ones I'd recommend out of these choices, probably Sprint Boost, Enemy Radar. Rejuvenation is definitely a lower level kind of thing. If you're like a new player, this might be good for a new player for some built-in HP regen. But yeah, Sniper Scavenger is hardly ever used. And as far as your Conclave mods and Mastery Fodder, there are no Mastery Fodder weapons this week. That's kind of surprising. But you also have Ambush Optics for the Rubico, Purifying Flame for Ember, not the augment you want for Ember. You want Healing Flame for Ember, but that one's still okay, I guess. Focus Acceleration for the Tetra, and Shrapnel Rounds for the Marelock. None of these are really worth picking up, in my opinion. But yeah, not a great Nightwave store this week, unfortunately. A lot of this stuff is kind of lackluster, and there are literally no Mastery Fodder weapons for Mastery, so yikes. Either way, gonna have the Nabarus Knights. If you want to farm that out, there's plenty of tokens to go get. Those Sentient Surge mods are like 5 plat right now, and they were like 200 plus plat before they added it at the store, so be aware of that. Exodia Contagion also still really good in 2024, and Plague Zaws are still usable, just not in Incarnon level, unfortunately. But hey, they can use the Exodia Contagion, so why not? Now, as far as the Invigorations, these are random per player per week. If you want to get access to this stuff, go to Sun on Deimos and get rank 5, and this will unlock this on a weekly basis, or you can buy it in the market, the in-game market, for about 300 plat. It's probably easier just to get the 300 plat, in my opinion, but yeah, it's also totally farmable as well. This could make the game a little bit more fun to have some crazy buffs. So starting off with Citrine, I've got melee critical chance and heal rate on Citrine. So melee critical chance, pretty good for a hybrid build. She buffs in a chance with her crystals, so that could be kind of decent actually. Heal rate not the most useful though. I guess you could technically stack with her too. For Rhino, we got secondary damage and immunity to stats effects. Wow, immunity to stats effects on Rhino. That's so nice of you. Wait a second, they made his Iron Skin Overguard. So stats immunity on Rhino does pretty much nothing. Okay, a terrible, terrible one for Rhino. And then for Mag, let's hope it's a good one. It's an okay one for Mag. We got melee damage energy max on Mag. Probably the most useful of the bunch. Yeah, that's not a great Rhino one, unless I want to do some secondary damage. So either way, guys, hope you found this video fun and helpful. I will see you on stream right after this video goes up. And yeah, we'll be farming out a ton of the stuff for getting some Xaku Prime prep. Expect some Xaku Prime prep videos in the future. Maybe go a little bit more of a deep dive than the previous one. But either way, guys, take it easy and I'll see you next time. Peace.